Just your initial thoughts with spring starting tomorrow.
Well, we're excited to start spring practice. I think the kids have had enough of the off-season program and are ready to go out and actually practice football. We have a tremendous amount of stuff to teach from an X's and O's standpoint and from a team chemistry and attitude and accountability standpoint, probably more important than the X's and O's of it. So we're all very, very excited to get out there and get started and to not be just jumping over bags for the heck of it, but to actually be out there practicing some football.
You mentioned it, Coach, ever since you've been here, that as much as you have to put in X's and O's wise, you really want to teach this team what it means to be a team and the sacrifices that it's going to take to turn this around. Talk a little bit about that, because you'll be able to implement that starting tomorrow.
Sure. Well, it starts with individual accountability for us, and we are trying and continually preaching that we're being accountable to our teammates, to our university, to our community, to our program, to our coaches, time in and time out. And that's the main thing that we're focusing on right now. Obviously, we have a lot to teach from a work ethic standpoint, from a accountability and discipline level. But those are the main tenets of our program and the main pillars of what we're trying to get taught. It's just like anything, you can't build a house without a foundation. And I think those are the key elements to any good team or any good program, and that's where we're putting our primary focus.
Do you have a handle on where that is now, even before you start, after what you've seen?
Well, yeah, I know it. I do have a handle on it. We have a long way to go. I think it's better. I think the kids are excited. I think they believe what we're teaching them. I think there's still some that are hesitant to jump in with both feet and really embrace it, but I think we're reaching them. So I have a handle on it in the fact that we have a long road to hoe, but we're getting there. And I think the kids are starting to understand what we're talking about. I don't think they fully understand yet the complete commitment that it takes. And it's not a short-term deal. There are no magic wands. It's not just, sprinkle a little fairy dust. It's commitment and discipline, time after time after time, day after day, week after week, month after month, eventually year after year, and that's how you build a program.
How difficult is it, Coach, to now be able to implement when you go to X's and O's? You're teaching guys that have been here maybe 2 or 3 years. Hey, look, it's totally something new. So when you go to the X's and O's, what's your game plan from you and your coaches over the next?
Well, we've got to ascertain the skill set of our guys. That's the biggest thing from an evaluation standpoint is what can we do to maximize a particular kid's skill set? And I think, that's a charge of a coach is what can you create something to use the skill set that those guys have, not concentrate on what they don't have. And, obviously the more guys you get on your team that have a bigger skill set, the better chance you have. But that'll be the biggest thing from a scheme standpoint is just trying to figure out exactly, what guys can and can't do, trying to improve on their weaknesses, and then let's implement that into an offense and defensive and special teams scheme that gives us the best chance.
Will you? I mean, you'll practice up until the spring break, and you'll take that break, obviously. What will you do during that break? Will you have a chance to then evaluate maybe position changes at that point? Or?
Yeah, well, we're going to do a little bit of both. We're going to spend a little bit of time with our families.
Yeah.
And we're also going to take stock in the first 5 days. What did we learn about our kids? Where do we think we are? What do we need to work on? We've tried to segment it out into 3 segments, the first 5 days, then a large break, then the next 5 days, and the final 5 days. So we'll have goals and objectives that we want to obtain in those segments. Instead of just throwing the whole thing up there and saying, let's go practice, let's try and get specific on what we want to get better at in each skill group, in each position, and then try and improve as we go.
With this being your first go at it as a head coach, are you already seeing the changes of how you'll have to handle things differently as you step out there tomorrow? Instead of being responsible for a segment or an offense, it's your whole baby.
Yeah, it's the first time we broke up positionally to kind of introduce the kids to the position coaches, I found myself just standing there with nothing to do. And that's when it kind of hit me, you know, and I wanted to go in the quarterback meeting so bad, but I didn't, because I wanted to let Coach Cornelson coach the quarterbacks. But yeah, there are a lot of those moments where it kind of hits you upside the head, where you're used to going to a particular drill every day for the last 10 or 11 years of your life, and now all of a sudden you're not. You're in charge of all of them. So that being said, I'm not going to become a head coach and stop coaching. I just absolutely refuse to. I'm excited to be a part of teaching and implementing an offensive system. Obviously, in the same respect, I have responsibilities on the other side of the ball. So that's why I'm so happy with our staff, because I have complete and total comfort that I can step out of the room or step off that side of the practice field, and things are going to go on the way that I want them to go on, and while I address any other responsibilities.
Fair or not fair, Coach, you know that there's always a focus on the quarterback. You told us after recruiting that it's only fair that Taylor comes in because he's been here, but obviously there's a lot of spotlight on Karam as he comes in. Can you talk a little bit about that position and what you saw, whether it's film on Taylor or Karam, in terms of what excites you about what each of them can do?
Well, I've been very happy with the both of them in off season. They've both been what you want from a leadership, work ethic, accountability standpoint at that position. If we can get all the other positions to be that accountable and work that hard, then we'll be in good shape. Now, that does, unfortunately, at quarterback, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to throw it to the right guy. So I don't know where we're going to be from a mental standpoint. I know both of those kids have put in some voluntary extra time to try and learn what's going on, and I'm excited about that. And I think they're both the right type of people to be in this program and help lead this program. They're both good athletes. They're both good people. They're both hard workers. I'm looking forward to getting them out there and seeing what they can do. I can honestly tell you I've never seen either one of them live throw a football. So I'm looking forward to the first day of practice like everybody else and watching them get out there.
As Tiger fans, they've seen Taylor. They saw what he did as a true freshman. People have not been able to see Jacob, and I know that he went to Texas Tech and was highlighted. When you looked at him, when you recruited him, what are the things that stand out about him that you're like, you know what, given an opportunity, this is going to...
Well, he was obviously a very good passer. He's a good athlete. I don't know that he's going to be mistaken for Vince Young or anybody out there running around, but he's a good athlete. He throws the ball really well. He's a highly intelligent kid. He understands concepts. He understands conceptually what the offense is trying to accomplish versus a given defensive look. So I think that helps, and you have to have that understanding to play that position. So, he throws the ball well. He's a good athlete. He's a heady player. I think all those things are positive attributes to playing that position.
How excited are you just in general then? I mean, you mentioned not seeing them play, just as the team as a whole. I mean, you take over, I'm sure you'd love to get out there. It's like a kid on a Christmas morning, maybe, not being able to open his gifts. You finally get to get out there.
No, I'm thrilled. I keep going over my mind. We had a staff meeting today, checklist after checklist after checklist after checklist. I consider myself fairly meticulous when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I just continue to go over it and over it and over it. But ultimately, I can't wait until 4 o'clock. We're out there, practice is going on, and we're teaching the kids how to practice. I'm not sure they quite understand it yet, and the effort, attention to detail, and focus it takes to be out there for 2 hours and get a really, really good quality practice in. So I'm thrilled. I know we take these jobs, and there's a lot of things that come along with coaching football, but ultimately it's an opportunity to teach and to help kids. And that's what we get to do tomorrow, and I'm pretty excited.
Is it safe to say, Coach, that you want to have a starting quarterback by the end of spring, or is that not fair to say because of everything that can happen between April and August?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a. I don't want to say I don't care, but that's not a main objective. Our objective is the health of the team, the knowledge base, teaching them how to practice, how to prepare, that sort of stuff. There are no ones and twos at any position right now. we're trying to teach a team how to compete, how to practice, how to prepare, how to be dedicated, how to be loyal, how to be accountable, that kind of stuff. So, long answer to a short question, not a top priority for us to make sure we have it lined out coming out of the spring.
Tell me again, you've talked about watching film of this team in the past. Again, how much did you look at, and how does that play into what you do?
Oh, I've looked at some, but I really, really wanted the kids to know that they're coming with a blank slate. And I have a hard time going and watching 20 hours of film and then telling a kid he's on a blank slate, because I'm forming an opinion of him as I watch, and I don't want to do that. So, we've gone out of our way to talk in terms of we and us as coaches and as players, and the things that happened before, and that's nobody's fault, and we're moving on. So I haven't done a tremendous amount. I have seen some, but I've really tried to have every kid come out there and say, okay, this is how we're going to do things. We're starting from square one. You can buy in or not, but this is the standard, and this is the level of expectation.
In some ways that helps them gain trust.
I think so. I hope so. If there's one thing that I hope that the kids are learning, is that we do care for them, and we are hard on the field and in off season, but we're also going to be around them, and we're also genuinely have a care and a love for their well-being. And I hope that they. I know some of them are. I just hope it keeps growing.
Coach, as a coach, you always want to fall back on those leaders, your seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And things. How difficult is it when you come into a transition or newness like this, that there isn't a guy that a young guy can go to, okay, how do we do this? Because it's new to everybody. So you don't have those players on the field being able to teach as well as you and your coach.
Well, it's ironic that you brought that up, because we just talked about that in a meeting today. Too many times when coaches take over, kids feel like that coach is going to bring in his guy. Well, there is none of that at our place. They're all our guys. Okay, so first of all, we get that out on the table right now. Now, it's our job to teach all of our guys how it's done, because the people that we've recruited that aren't here yet, they don't know either when they get here. And it's the group that's here right now's job to teach the new guys. So it doesn't matter who recruited them or when they were here. Those are all circumstances beyond our control. The thing that we want to get across to them is we've got to teach you all right now. Okay, you take all your preconceived notions, all your preconceived thoughts, and throw them away, and let's start from scratch, so that you can, preach the word or teach the new kids that come in the level of expectation, the level of dedication, the level of work ethic, how we operate, how we behave, and how we speak and talk and carry ourselves, and then you can pass that down to the next new group, and then the next group, and that's how eventually you get a program full of guys that understand what's going on.
And how much better do you feel about your coordinators now that you've had this amount of time to kind of work with them before you've been on the field?
Well, I couldn't be happier. Coach Dickey has a wealth of knowledge, both being a head coach, being a coordinator, offensive football, just the whole 9 yards. He's been a great hire for us. He and his family are great people, and I'm excited that they're back in this community. Coach Odom, I think we've been able to surround him with a strong staff. I know he's excited to get out there and install his version of his defense and tailor make it to the people we have. But I have complete trust in those people. I'm excited about them.